Hi, in this video, we're going to use geolocation to display dynamic images using Logic Hop. You'll see on my page, I simply have a single image, and one of the things we'll notice here is that the path for this image is quite important. I have it in WP Content Uploads 2017-04 for April, and the file name is header_default.png. Now, if I jump into my media library, you'll see that here's the file I was just talking about. And then I have two other files, one for California and another for Florida. And if we look at the naming convention for these, this is very important. I have this named as header_FL for Florida in capital letters, FL. And then for California, exactly the same, except instead of FL for Florida, I have _CA for California. This is important because when we do the dynamic image replacement using geolocation, we're going to use the state abbreviation or the region code to display this content. So let me show you quickly by putting in a sample region code, and I'm going to use Logic Hop. I'm going to add data, Logic Hop data, and under my display shortcode, I'm going to select region code, and you'll see that this is going to give us exactly that region code. So when I update this page, we'll see that it's displaying my region code here. I'm working in an incognito window because I'm logged in as the admin, and I want to see it the way a regular user would. And this is the best way to work, is either in an incognito window to view your customizations or your personalizations, or in another browser. So we'll see that we're displaying our region code here, but now let's take a look at how we could use this with the image. So I'm simply going to copy what I have here and paste it down. And then we're going to think about this as we want to dynamically replace this text here, this area here. And in order to do that, I'm going to copy the shortcode. I'm just going to paste it right here. And we'll see what this is actually going to do. I'll make this a little wider so we can see it, is it's going to replace the content with the state or the region code in the image tag. So when I update this, we know that my region code was Florida. So when I reload this page, there we go. It gives me the Florida graphic. If we were in another state, such as California, it's going to show us that CA, that _CA.png file. Now, as you're watching this, you're probably wondering, am I going to have to create a header file for every state? Well, the answer is, if you're working this way, yes, you would. And the other thing to consider is that if you're dealing with other countries and visitors can come to your website from anywhere, you'd have to cover every variation. Well, that's not really practical. So what we can do is we can create a Logic Hop condition. And these conditional statements will allow us to ask questions like, is the user in Florida or California? And all I'm going to do simply here is give this as the name of my condition so it's easy to recognize. And then that's going to be what my condition description is the user in Florida or California. Now, the way we want to ask this question is we want to say if, and then we're going to say location, and then we can say the location type, and this is our region code. And if the location type is CA. And then we want to add this for Florida as well. So I'm going to limit this to 2 states. So I'm going to say, or location state is Florida. And you can see the way this condition works, this will say if the location is California, or if the location is Florida, we can do something. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and click publish and save this condition. In order to have this condition reflected on my page, I am going to need to reload my page here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit update. And now I can use my Logic Hop condition palette. And the way I'm going to do this is in the tool palette, I'm going to come to conditions and I can select, is the user in Florida or California? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say insert conditional shortcode. And you'll see is what this gives me is this block of code, this short code which starts here and ends here. And anytime this condition is met, or this condition is true, anything in between these two blocks is going to be displayed to the user. So what I can do is I can take my header image and place it between these two shortcodes. I'm just going to give some space there so we can see, and then that's going to say is if the user is in Florida or California, display that image. Well, that's great, but now we also need to do the inverse, or the opposite, for anybody who's not in Florida or California. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the tool palette, and I'm going to use what's referred to as a conditional not shortcode. So I'm going to select is user in Florida or California and click the not shortcode. This works very much the same way. It gives us another set of shortcodes, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this in here. Just give myself some space in there so I can see. That way it's a little easier to look at. And if the user is not, if this condition is not met, this image, this default image, will be displayed. So I'm going to go ahead and click update here. And when I reload this page, what we're going to see is we're only going to see the header image for Florida. So that just gives us a sense of how we can use a combination of shortcodes to display the data and conditions to restrict or fall back to default images. I hope this is helpful in taking a look at conditions. You can also do a lot more with geolocation, but this is just scratching the surface and taking a quick look at a great way to use it with graphics.